Welcome back to my talk show. Let's talk about with Richa. And today I have an amazing woman who won my visibility challenge, and I am in awe of her. Welcome, Shakila, to my talk show. Good
Thank you.
for us to have you here. Thank you for taking out the time. Could you tell my audience a little bit about yourself?
Okay, so my name is Shakila Ahmed, and I am a business owner. So my business, the name of my business is called Mandala Oak. So what we offer of services at the moment is within mental health and wellness. So this is more currently what's going on,
Yeah,
but
but
my
this is
my
so amazing, Mandala Oak. What do you mean? I know mandala, but how come the name Mandala Oak?
Okay, so this is a very romantic, I would say,
Mhm.
uh, a story that I would like to share it. I would
Yeah,
like to
please
share
do.
because it's very, yeah, okay. So as I said, it's within mental health and wellness. So I'm a person who I struggle with anxiety and within the workforce. My last job, that was actually the reason why I became an entrepreneur, because I thought I cannot go back to my previous career path, which was more into public sector and yeah. So what happened was that I was thinking, okay, what do I want to call my business? And I'm an artist, as you can see. But I've always been into painting, and I studied art in high school and then interior design. And then I switched to the University of Oslo, and then went into the square. But I'm very glad I did. So so as I said, I've changed my career path several times, and I also struggled with anxiety. So I realized that I want to build something that is solid
Hmm.
and that is sustainable.
Hmm.
So mandala is a word in Sanskrit, which comes from South Asia, and the name is circle. And what is circle? Circle is sustainable, like
Infinite.
it's,
Yeah.
yeah, infinite, yeah. And mandala is also a type of mindfulness that really helps me to to come into my I would say mental strength. And that is also what I teach, offer of services to other people, because it truly helps me.
Hmm.
So that's where the inspiration came. I mean, it was just perfect, because I did the mandala drawing, and then I was like, I want to have it as the name of the business. And then the oak is the romantic part. So oak is a tree, right? And it's a very majestic tree. And I really, a part of me is, I just feel so home and protected by trees. So I live in the nature. I have fjord. I see the fjord, so I feel very connected to it. And what happened was that I thought, I want to build life. So I have the circle sustainability, but I want stability as well. And the oak inspires me so much. If you see how big it is, and the roots goes so deep, and I always wanted to be stable in life. So what I mean by that, I'm an artist in my soul. I'm an artist in Själplan, which is like soul level.
Yeah.
And with by being an artist, it's a beautiful journey, but at the same time, it is very emotional. It's been very emotional, which is a good thing. But when you become a business owner, it's a bit different. So I thought that I want to have a name that helps me to become where I want to be.
Hmm.
Does it make sense? Yeah.
Yes, it makes
So
a lot of.
so yeah, so I watched, so the Oak name came from a movie, uh which is called Not Far Away from Maddington, I think. And there is a character in that movie. Uh it's 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 British, it's old, like Victorian time, I think. And this woman, she kind of reminded me of myself, this character, and she's very free spirited and very emotional and doesn't like to be, you know,
Confined
hold,
in one place.
yeah, yeah, especially about men, right? Because at that time it was you were with, yeah, the husband had. So anyway, she was in her, like, before her time, I
Mm.
would say.
She
So
was
anyway, so she met Mr. Oak, which is a very stable person. And he I love that movie. And then he has this character. What I realized is that there is a reason why his name is Mr. Oak. There's a reason why it's Mr. Oak. Because his whole character is just so stable. And he proposed to her, but she's like, no, I am too, you cannot bound me down. And what happens at the end, I hope people, okay, it doesn't matter. Yeah, if you haven't seen the movie, it's okay. So what happens is that there are two other men who approaches her, but Mr. Oak is with her all the time, and she's a business owner. So he is with her all the time, and he's honest, and he is very, he's, I mean, I just got so inspired by his character. And I thought, you know what? If I want a husband, like I want that type of man. And then I thought, well, life is
unpredictable.
unpredictable. So I thought, you know what? I should just become Mr. Oak.
Wow.
So yeah, so what I mean by that is the traits that Mr. Oak had, which is very connected to Mother Earth and the tree oak.
Mm.
So the main thing was stability from this movie. So that movie inspired me, and that what I mean about the romantic part is the inspiration and how it's yeah, it just became a full circle. And so I feel very, very connected to the name of my business. So I'm very happy that you asked, because I've told just two people this, because
And now
yeah.
a lot of people will know it. Many thousand people will know it. Yeah, but I was fascinated the first time I heard it because, as you say, the circle, mandala circle, is represents also us, the feminine energy, whereas the oak represents the masculine energy, where it is also very grounded, and circle, I believe mandala, of course, represents a lot of creativity, but what a creative person needs is to bring it down to so we can
Yes.
feel it and it's not just floating. And
Yeah.
listening to you, I'm definitely inspired to see the movie, but I felt that, oh, you're talking like in this scenario, I'm definitely the woman that keeps on, spreading all over the world, but my husband is definitely Mr. Oak, because when I met him, I never met anybody who was so grounded and so centered and so stable. Whatever happens, he's my rock, that oak tree that
Yes.
will not just fall down because of the storm, he's just
Mm.
so grounded. So it's amazing. And it appeals to everybody, the name, because your customers are both females and men.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
it's
it's
amazing.
actually it's for human beings and
Exactly.
their wellness.
Yeah.
And what you said about creativity is actually it's feminine energy, right?
Yes.
And so and the stability. So it's a combination of feminine energy and masculine energy. And I've been working a lot with my feminine energy because I grew up in Norway and in
Where
Western.
we learn how to embrace our masculine energy no matter
Yes.
what, and the feminine energy is like, what is that? Why do we need that? And
Yeah.
yeah,
But
I,
it's very
I
good
I
that,
can relate to that. I can really
yeah,
relate to that.
it's good that we are going towards and having conversation about this more and more about the feminine energy. But yeah, so my business is just an extent of my own values, philosophy.
Of course.
So it's also based on Asian philosophy. So mindfulness mandala comes from, it started in Hinduism with Sri Yantra, and then Buddhism flourished, and the Buddhist monk used mandala as a mindfulness practice. And then mindfulness is more, has become more, I teach it more as a secular way, because it's a way of living, right? So that's what I like about the Buddhist philosophy, and Hindu philosophy, because it's both religion and it's also philosophy. So I'm taking the philosophy side, and how it can help us to live a more sustainable life. And as you can see, like science is catching up with us. I'm saying us because I'm originally from Bangladesh, South Asia. So mandala has been, or mindfulness has been around for 3,500 years, and mandala drawing has been around for 2,500 years, and it's just exploding. And why is that? Because it's sustainable.
Sustainable, and I also believe that at certain times we need different kind of tools. Even though, as you say, it's definitely sustainable. It has been, surviving all of this time. If it had something been trendy, it will have just flourished and then been gone. It is something that is connecting everybody through nature, through all of the energy forms, and that's why it's able to still exist. But yeah, I think we always come back to what is the ultimate truth. That doesn't change. That doesn't.
Yeah.
It might look different, but it doesn't change actually.
Yeah. So mindfulness is you have meditation as a umbrella term, and then you have this, and then you have different type of meditation forms. So mandala is more earth. It's more practical. So it's easier for us. For me, it was, so I believe in science. And actually, the reason I started to believe in mindfulness was because of science. So for me, it doesn't matter if people are like, oh, I need science to get into this. It's fine as long as you start the process of the mental health. So that's what I like
And
about
I
mindfulness. It's
like
easy.
I love the way you explained it, that meditation is the umbrella, but why mandala probably is easier for people to connect to, especially in Norway, because here people are very connected to nature. That is one thing, but they are much more practical. They're much more spiritual in a different physical way. And I think that's why mandala becomes much a better tool and people can relate, and it's easier with the science. When something is one other techniques of meditation is just spiritual or just meditative or inside, it's much more difficult to prove. But science has come a long way, as you said. But I like that what you said, it's more grounded, and I think that's why a lot of Norwegian will connect to it easier and better.
Yeah, and since I grew up here, it's just an extension of me growing up here in Norway. So I understand the Nordic or Scandinavian way, as you also do. So it's just, but I think it's really nice that it's a strength being from Bangladesh, or a minority which has so much. We have so much. I'm so proud of South Asian culture. Has so much wisdom, and to bring that to the Western society in Northern countries where they're struggling a lot with mental health, is just really beautiful to bring these tools from Eastern philosophy and wisdom that I grew up in. It wasn't something that I had to learn. Mandala, I grew up with it. In Bengali, it's called Alpana. But so it's just I would say in my DNA. And now it's just so beautiful to share this knowledge with Norway or Nordic.
country.
Yeah, and we are more people who's doing this now, but I think it's taking ownership and reclaiming, I would say, the culture again. It has been an important part of my journey, and yeah, that's why I feel I'm at home now in
But
my
you
business.
have other philosophies also that you have brought in, because you mentioned Bollywood dance and you had Mandala, and then you have another, the third part of it, which
Yeah,
makes your services very unique because you're combining so many different things. As you said, Mandala is definitely much more physical because it's much more grounded. But then you have the dance, which is much more of a physical movement, but then you have another philosophy as well. Tell us a little bit about that.
yeah. So it's called Ikigai. It's a Japanese life philosophy. It comes from um, island called Okinawa.
Mhm.
So so the reason I discovered this Ikigai was actually because of that. That's the foundation of my business model. So I, as I said, I struggle with anxiety and mental health, and then I fixed that by mindfulness, meditation, and mandala. And that became sustainable for my strengthening my mental health. And then I was like, okay, I need to move because it was pandemic, and I was going back to what I love, which is a part of the Ikigai. What are you good at? What do you love? Um, and and um, and then I started to dance Bollywood, and yeah, then I got introduced because I'm a very curious person, and I like to know things and read, and yeah. So I found Ikigai, and I was like, what is Ikigai? And then this is, as I said, a Japanese life philosophy, but it's when it comes to the Japanese authentic way, it's not that they're not that the career model is not that important. It's a more holistic approach to life. So basically, it's about Iki means life, and Gai means worth, body in
Oh,
Norwegian.
wow.
Now, a value, or yeah, so a way of living,
Hmm.
giving you a reason to, that's the thing, giving you a reason to wake up
Hmm.
and live a fulfilling life. And that's a holistic approach which is so important for me, because that is sustainable. When you do something holistically, that's when it becomes sustainable. And how does something become holistic? That's when you integrate different parts of your life. And with Ikigai, it's four different. Yeah, as I said, the Japanese authentic part, it's more about the eating and things you love, which is passionate, but they don't think that much about the income, like
Hmm.
how to get paid for it, which is the career model that I will talk, which is inspired by the Ikigai.
Yeah.
So that's important for me to say, because information, there's a lot of information, and I love to bring up where thing comes from.
Hmm.
So yeah. So anyway, so the career model, which is what I used for the business, was actually it was me, and then it became the business. So
It is
so
often like that.
yeah,
Either we see something that is missing in the market or in the society, and we want to fill that hole. We want to serve, uh,
yeah,
or there is some product that is not, made up yet, and there is still a hole in the market, and we want to fill that by services or product, doesn't really matter, but it becomes an extension of us because we have that need, and if we have it, probably 10 other people need it too, they need it or they want it, and then we are the ones who take it further. But yeah, it's often like that. The business becomes a reflection of you.
yeah. So the four, exactly, and that's what happened. So the four aspects, well, the Ikigai career model, I would say, the four aspects are, what are you, what do you love? What are you good at? What does the society need? and how can you get paid for it?
Yeah.
So it becomes it's a vocation and it's calling and so it's a combination. It's a way of working with it.
Mm,
And for me, I since I figured out that okay, I'm good at art,
mm,
and that's also why I teach mandala drawing
mm,
from scratch
mm.
to people. And mandala drawing is for everyone. You don't need any art. Yeah, you don't need any art.
Experience. You
Yeah,
don't need any
thank you,
talent,
experience.
no talent, no nothing. You can just start doing it no
No,
matter what.
but this is this discovery of the talent, right? Ikigai is discovery. What are you good at?
I mean,
I
you don't need to be an artist. You don't need to have artistic talents in order to do the mandala. That's what I mean. Because
yeah, yeah,
I when I work with people with the goal mapping, and I started like now 9 years ago, then it wasn't digital. Then we had to draw.
yeah,
What we have written on one side, we had to draw it, and people will like freak out. But I'm not good in drawing. I said, make like matches, man. Like you just make a dot and you just make a arm. No, it was difficult for people because they don't, they put too much pressure on themselves to draw. But it's not about the drawing, it's more about the expression that comes out of it. Mm.
yeah. And that's important what you said right now because that's what Ikigai does. It helps you to reconnect with your childhood
Mm.
because a lot of answers are in the childhood. And I've been working like before I switched over to I worked with so I come from education and teaching. So I worked at school. So I worked with kids
Mm.
and from 6 to 9 years old. And that's when that's when I discovered that, every children are creative. And
Mm.
at that point, you don't have any, like we became more strict and put pressure on ourselves because of the society.
Yeah.
So it's actually, we are just, magical and yeah, light. And
Connected.
then
We are
society,
connected to the source energy, the source
yeah,
power, and
yeah,
then we don't have any perception or understanding of our limitations because they are not there because we are connected. And the moment some people say, oh, you have this limitation, that's when the limitation, in my belief, becomes real. You put
mm,
that limitation there because people say, like, if you have an infinite garden and there is nothing, there is just garden, 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 and the moment somebody say, oh, there is a fence here, you don't see the fence, but the moment somebody says there is a fence, suddenly the fence is there, and then you can't get out of that fence, and then those fences start building up, and suddenly your infinite garden becomes a little square, and that becomes your comfort zone. So yeah, I think children have like infinite garden, and they're connected to the source. It's us or the society or the adults that say, hey, you have this limitation, you shouldn't go past.
yeah,
And we project our own fear and limitation onto the children because some family might think, okay, they are not artistic enough, and
yeah.
they will think, oh, you are my child, you are probably not artistic, or you maybe not be able to sing, or you shouldn't be dancing because we cannot dance. We don't come from that family. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so exactly. So that's what happened with Ikigai. It helped me to reconnect with my childhood.
Mm.
And I didn't dance Bollywood dance for many, many years. And I didn't see that as a lifestyle because I just saw that as okay, when we go to weddings or birthday parties, you do Bollywood dance or Bhangra, never like a lifestyle as I integrated in during the pandemic. So again, I was like, okay, what am I good at? I'm good at dancing. I'm good at dancing and I used to love dancing, right? So what do you love? What are you good at? And that's when I came with this holistic approach. So going back to childhood is when you find out is when you remember what you were good at.
Mm.
And then what do you love? These are these are also question about what did you love when you were younger
Mm.
before life happened. So what did I love? I love to draw. I love to create. I love to dance. I love theater. I'm a very expressive person, and just when I connected with that, it was just becoming whole and becoming myself, remembering myself. And that is so important when we do business or just life, navigating life in general. Who are we? Who are you? Know thyself, right? So for me, Ikigai helped me to reconnect with parts of me. And then the society part. So what do the society need, and how can you get paid for it? So this is more the adult part of the life.
Mm, mm.
So right. So when you combine, so it's holistic. So you combine your childhood, your teenage year, your adult year, and then I think the reason they also have what does the society want
Mm.
is because we human beings, we need the feeling of helping. That's why we love superhero movies.
That is, yeah, because that is one of the six human basic needs that Anthony Robbins talk about. We have these basic six human needs, and contribution is one of the three spiritual needs. You have the one primary needs, which are what you talked about earlier. You needed stability, so safety, and then you have variety because by being creative, you have all the variety that you need in your life, both colors and forms and everything. And then you become significant. You need to feel significant, even if it is for yourself. You need to feel, who am I? As you said, know yourself, but also that connection. We need that connection with ourselves and others. Only then can we, survive and feel at home. We need to feel that we belong, with ourselves. And that is the first spiritual need is connection, then becomes love. And then it is connection and love is the same. And then you have growth. The
Yes.
more you grow, the more you learn. Like you said you are a curious person. You like to learn and grow. And
Yeah.
that's when we thrive. You know what? That's when Tony Robbins says, if you're not growing, you're dying. Right. So a lot of people who felt depressed during pandemic, they were not doing anything to grow. For those who were still connecting with other people over online, or reading new books or whatever they were doing, and they were growing, didn't feel that pandemic was too bad because they got time to grow. And then you
Mhm.
have the ultimate is the contribution. When you
Yeah.
contribute, that's when we are on the best. And through contribution, what I've experienced is comes the healing. When you actually are able to contribute to the society, to your family, to yourself, doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be through money. It could be contributing your time, bake a cake, showing up in the school for your children, showing up for your parents, showing up for yourself, somehow contributing, giving something from yourself is when the healing starts.
Yeah. Exactly. So with what the society wants, and the income part, or getting paid for it, is important, because this is more a
Uh,
career model.
mm,
So the reason I am passionate about taking this to the workforces,
mm,
that's important for me to mention, because there is a lot of people who doesn't being grounded, right? Oak, being grounded. So what's that? That's works forces, that's organization, constitutions, institutions, sorry. And that's what my vision is, to bring these tools, because it works. There is scientific backup, so it's not that difficult to sell this in now, because we have paper. And I have lived this experience as well, and that's why I see that, since I quit my job because of anxiety, and I didn't like the last workplace. That's why I can't go back.
mm,
The Ikigai came in the picture,
mm,
and so it's a career model,
mm.
and that's why it's important to know how you can get income, because that's make it sustainable, or else it becomes more
A
what do you
charity.
call charity, which is a good thing, but this is when you can't go back to workforces. So it's both. This is what I it's basically my experience. So it's for people, workforces or workplaces that needs who are struggling with anxiety, like their colleagues or ansata, what's that in English?
Employees.
Yeah, employees. So to
And I
have,
think when you are in business, business is a money game. So
yeah,
if you are gonna do this as a business, then the money needs to be there. And there is this universal law. If you are giving something, you need to receive something.
yeah,
You there is a transaction. So if you are helping people to heal, mental health, physical health, and everything, then you need to get something back. Otherwise there will be it will not tally up. That
yes,
transaction needs to be both ways. And the way our society is built now is that when you are giving them a service, they will pay for it. So that transaction needs to be correct.
exactly.
So I think that is a very, very important part of that philosophy, that if you're going to live out of it, it has to be paid from it. But as you said, if it is a charity, then the transaction becomes different. Then the
And that's,
groundwork for that is different.
yeah, so I've done exactly. So I've done a lot of charity, and worked in Red Cross as a volunteer. So different things, and so with the public sector, for example, I organization. So I had to work, have an income, and then I did the volunteering, which was a different part. It was an important experience, but now that I think the transition from that work culture to business has been a very, uh, I would say, challenging, but at the same time a learning curve, I would say, because there is so much difference in the way of thinking. So that's why the reason I guess I'm bringing up the income is because I grew up as thinking that one, I'm just going to be honest, business people are not.
Not
They're not good people. I mean, this is society, political. How did you grow up? How was it, left side, was it right side? These are important questions because that's when you get to know yourself. So I went through, like, okay, how was my upbringing? How was my limited, like, how I think? And now it just crushed all the
limiting beliefs.
walls, I would. Yeah,
Yeah, and
limiting
these are
beliefs.
limiting
And I
beliefs.
see
They
that.
are not, and they are not necessarily yours, as you say. It's how we are brought up. For many people, money is bad. Money is the source of evil. Money is the source of
Exactly.
this and that. Or you have to work very hard to earn money. Because this is something that is in our DNA. Uh, because we have I was reading this with the Deepak Chopra thing that a lot of the beliefs, limiting beliefs, are not ours. We have gotten them in our DNA, and we need to
Hmm.
release it, and we need to kind of say, this is not mine. And it's nothing like it doesn't suit our society now. It might have done because there were less of it. And there might be a different situation where money might be, their experiences might be different, but it has become in our DNA. And suddenly we are hearing that from our parents, and it becomes we think it's one of ours. And that's the limiting belief. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what happened with me. I was judgmental, and that's why I bring up the money, because a part of me is still like, hey, it's okay to earn money by creativity. And as I said, I'm an artist. I paint, and I used to before I give some of my painting away for free. And now I would never do that because there's so much time that I used. And the society has, especially when it comes to the institutions and the public sector, has has a it's creativity, then you're not supposed to get paid for it because it's fun,
It's
you know.
especially in Norway, you are not supposed to live well off if you are a creative person. If you are an artist, a painter or a dancer, the more broke you are, the better it is. The more they think, the more broke you are, the more creative you are. But I don't believe so. I truly don't believe so.
The reason why is there is okay, I'm very into, I love politics, but I know that business people like that's very interesting because I come with a lot of political knowledge and I'm very interested in politics, but also I'm a business owner now. So what I can say is that with artists, if you go back in history, artists has so much power when it came to politics.
Mm.
So what happened was that it's still in some places and where people went into jail, freedom fight. Yeah. So artists has so much power. Uh, for example, there are some Indian. So in Pakistan, India border, the artist can travel. Like Pakistani artists can travel to India for performance. So do you understand that this is the power artists have? And but the problem is that so it's institutions they love to have this power. So through history, artists it's just okay. Artists have so much power. How can we dim this power? So that's actually the root. I believe in that by like okay, let's just keep artists broke
Yeah.
because yeah, it's a language that expresses emotions, and especially when we go through troubling times, artists are the one who creates, and
Of course, well,
it's
because one picture or one dance that moves people express more than 1,000 words. When I
exactly.
can through some dance movements move hundreds of people and make them cry, it's much more powerful than any speech or any words 100 words can express, or a painting or a picture where everything is expressed in a flat picture expresses more than 100 words. So yes, as you say, there is a lot of power, but I could never understand why it was so in Norway, because I come from a business family as well as a creative, because my mom is the creative one and my father is a business owner. So they are two different people, but I am a mix of them. So for me it was a natural thing, and I could never understand why do we have to be broke as an artist in Norway. Is like one of, at that time it was like one of the most richest country in the world, and we're supposed to be broke. So that for me it never made any sense. So I wasn't
Yeah.
brought up with the idea, but I saw that the Norwegian network was like that. Do you have money? Then you're not an artist. Oh, you earn money on your art? That means you're not a good artist. Then you are a commercial artist. You're not a true artist. That mindset was very
Yeah.
embedded in them. So I could never find my footing there.
It's a very institutional mindset as well.
Yeah.
But just need to be clear on what I said. It's not only Norway. It's in
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
general.
It's all over the world, but
Yeah.
I've only been in like express myself in Norway mostly, but yeah.
Okay.
So no, but
Yeah.
I totally understand what you're saying, because we can see that through the history and the books and everything, that the artist had so much power. Um, yeah, so but since I'm brought up here, I was surprised that that kind of mindset existed here as well. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Agree.
But
So I want to change that.
yeah.
That's yeah, yeah, yeah. That's why I'm gonna so in my website there is also because I've been collecting, been doing or produced. Or can I use that word?
Yes, yes.
No,
Pretty-
no, no. I mean like in the artist producing what?
What? Yeah.
Manufacturing what? So I just want to because I understand what you mean, and I try to connect with institutions, artists, but it's very if you're in, then you're in. So an outsider cannot get into that institution. So I was like, you know what? It's okay. Let me just create my own thing
Exactly.
and make it
Exactly.
more accessible. Art should be accessible for people. And that's also I sell uh prints and not original. But prints are original in a way as
I
well.
know, I know. I've worked with a few artists before, and it's just as expressive uh,
Yeah,
as the
but
original one.
yeah, it's a very elitist thing. And I want to break that because I mean that art is for everyone. It should be accessible for everyone, and it shouldn't be elitist thing. So I
But
guess
yeah,
I'm
then what you're doing is like you're breaking the market, right? Because when it's one of a kind, then it can have that price. And I know what you're saying, and I think it's really good that you're doing it because somebody needs to do it. But I want to ask you, how do you define success?
okay. So I define it has changed, and in 2 years it will probably change. But at the moment, I see success as a balance between the physical, yeah, materialism.
Mm.
So earth, and that could be
Mhm.
anything, but something that is sustainable for your living, earthly things, and then spirituality. When you combine this, that's when that's it's a balance. And I guess that's what I'm working on with right now, the earth part, materialism, because you need both.
Definitely,
Uh,
definitely.
and yeah,
Especially
and
when we are in a physical form,
yes,
we can't deny ourselves the materialistic things because we are born spirits into a physical form, and I think that's an amazing way of putting it, that finding the balance between those two, because just being earthly and materialistic, it will never serve you. You'll never feel the happiness. But
yeah.
only being spiritual and getting rid of all the materialistic stuff will also not make you my belief is not making you 100% happy, because we are spirits having a physical experience. So
So I did that. I did that. I gave away every in 2017. I hit the wall, and then I gave away everything, and I went to Asia for 6 months to to for art, to know myself, to learn more about philosophy, Asian philosophy, and just get rid of all the materialistic things and do meditation. So I took completely distance from materialism and went very spiritual on a spiritual path. But
hmm.
that was a part of my path, and now I see that yeah, I mean that was good, but now I can see that that created also some challenges in the materialistic life.
Hmm.
And to be happy, as you said, I completely believe in that. Um, that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And what is that? That's being on in earth, but also everything with balance. And that's why I like Ikigai, because what does the society need? So if you only believe in materialism, you don't care that much about
Correct.
what society need, and it's very empty. And that's why a lot of people struggle. And so when you have the society thing and you feel like, okay, I'm helping something, helping the society or whatever, and then you have the spiritual part, you are in balance, because
Balance.
it's kind of like intuitive. You don't even have to believe in spirituality, but as long as you are connected with your heart and yourself, and you have this intuition, it's just gonna guide you. So that's what I believe. Both,
Nice.
balance of
Okay,
both.
because I hear you do a lot of different things. Like you also talked about digital marketing, and you
Yeah.
have all of these services, and you want to bring this into the businesses. So you have like different projects going on. How do you manage your time?
So I've been following my female or my woman cycle.
Mhm.
So that's how I manage my time. And I tuned into that 4 years ago. when I
Mhm.
realized that I'm too much in my masculine energy.
Mhm.
And that had also something to do with the work that I workplaces, right? People don't even know that it's just for me it was just taking pills and then continue working. So the workplaces are not built for women. And this is I'm not a feminist. This is this is not coming from a feminist. This is just real, you know. How did the if you go back in history, how why did who built this? It was for men.
Of course.
So and it has different women and men had different roles in life, and 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 then because of feminist movements and history, and feminism was a it was that the rights were important, or else I couldn't be a business owner now. So I don't so embracing that. But at the same time, what happened I see is that we thought that we had to become more like men to get the respect and to yeah, show that we are good enough. But I realized, and I was in that mental space headspace, but 4 years ago I was like, what am I doing? And then I started to get into, because of spirituality as well and connection to the body, I was like, okay, it must be a reason why we women have these cycles and go through these different transitions in life, and it has to have a gift. And I watched other people who talked about this in the spiritual, yeah, community, and thinking of the way of thinking. So when I started to study my cycle and understood that, oh, this cycle actually have four. Okay, so what I mean about cycle, it's a menstrual cycle, just to be specific. So we have um, four seasons
Mhm.
as nature in the West, because there are different seasons in the monsoon. Okay, whatever. So so four seasons. So the summer, so menstrual cycle is during it's the winter season for 1 week, and then it's the autumn, and then you have the spring and the summer. So summer is the ovulation time. So when we understand that, oh, the spring and the summertime is actually, that's when we feel more like we're more social, we like to have meetings, we glow up more. So I now that I have learned this and I'm more tuned to my body, I also realize that, yeah, I actually have more energy, and I'm more vibrant during these 2 weeks. So
Mhm.
all of the meetings, and today, for example, so I schedule my time uh, based on that.
Mhm.
And then digital marketing, I love it, and I just it's creative, and it really, the reason I went into it is also it just fits now that I know myself and my woman cycle. I know that digital marketing, I can work with that when I have my
Autumn
winter,
and winter.
yeah, winter, so I can work from bed. Uh, I mean, or take some rest. And this is the feminine woman way of living, which is coming into the modern way of working. I believe that we're getting there. So that's
Okay,
why,
okay. So I'm very curious, and I love this. And so, do you teach this to your clients as well? Do you, or this is just for you at this moment?
okay. So the thing is that I have so much knowledge about things, and I don't even know. I've talked to people and they're like, "Do you teach this?" So I guess with time I will probably, if it's more interested in it. But I'm just sharing what helps me.
Yeah. But I
And
think I think a lot of women will need it. But then
yeah,
my follow-up question will be, I don't know if it's premature question, because
yeah,
this is for the women, right? And you
yeah,
are a woman. But what if a man needs to find that kind of a balance in his life? Because I know my husband were talking about biological cycles, and that's different.
yeah,
And and he was there was a period of time which was very difficult for me and him. We were not on the same page. We could not communicate. There was nothing, actually, you know, I couldn't understand why are we together, And then he started studying about the biological cycles, and he said, well, at this moment we are so far away as possible because he was on the high, I was on the low, and there was no way that we were crossing for another few years or a few months or whatever. So he said, just hold in there. Soon we will get there and we will match. And we will, and then the cycle went like this, that both of us were there, and then suddenly, yeah. So would that be something that you will be teaching in the future? Is that something we can look forward to?
Yeah, so very interesting because I mean the menstrual cycle is also biology. I just talked in a very spiritual way, but it's I'm so into biology, and I think that science is important, but biology is also important to understand our roles in life, and that women are biologically more into nurturing and creativity. So for me, yes, I understand since I'm a woman, it's easier for me to know how a woman works, but I have read that a man's cycle is the 4 seasons. So we have 1 month, right?
Yeah.
Men has 24 hours.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
So yeah, so of course when but I haven't gone into this
No,
very
no,
detail,
but
but when
that
I
is,
do,
yeah, but
so
that
men
could
has
be our next show. Next,
yeah,
in a next
yeah,
season or next season after that, you can come in and explain more about this because this is, I love this, you know.
yeah. So this is okay. This is good. So men has their cycle during 24 hours. So that's why they operate so well. The system, the workforce, it's built for them
Yeah.
because they have it. They have the so basically winter is winter. So autumn and winter is when you come home, right?
Hmm.
For a man, and then you're like, okay, I'm done with work, and so that's why it's more built for them. But I think, but what's important is that the reason I'm vocal about it is because I am the only person who can say, if we all take responsibility
Yeah.
for ourselves,
Yes.
then the world would change.
Definitely.
So when I
Definitely.
do my yeah, so when I offer my courses to business organizations, I actually am very vocal about that week. I do not teach physically. I
Mm.
mean physical course
Not
or
that physical present. Yeah.
yeah, because of my season.
Mm.
And that was first for one of them, that was a bit strange, and she was a woman, but you see, but because we have entered this headspace, and then I told her like, this is very, women's health is very important to me, and then she was like, okay, fine, let's do it.
But I
So I
think
think,
I think that is a huge step forward because it's not that a woman often will not say what's going on. You can't do it. It's just that they don't have the knowledge of it.
and she's in her 50s, and she's taking the journey, she had her struggles,
Mm.
so that they have paved the path,
Yeah.
the older generation, and now I feel like we are paving a different
Yeah.
path for the Gen Zs
Oh.
and the Alpha generation.
Oh my God, don't get into that. Okay, so for those who come after you, do you have any advice?
Oh, yes, but I have so many. Okay, so for business owners, like
Yes.
if you yeah, entrepreneurs.
Any, yeah, who is starting their new businesses, Gen Z or whoever comes after us.
So as I said, oak is foundation, stability, right? And roots. So to have roots are so important. So find out, where do you come from?
Mm.
What I mean about that is it doesn't matter, Norwegian, minority, whatever.
Mm.
Where do you come from? What did your parents do? What did your grandparents do? What did your ancestors do? Do like research on your family history about different occupation, etc. So I didn't know that my dad worked in UNESCO UN until 2 years ago. That was just crazy. Yeah. So that just changed so much for me. I knew that, I mean, they're into science, but I didn't know about his life in Bangladesh. I just knew about his life here in Norway. So when you whatever it is, get to know your ancestor roots, because that will give you a strength to understand who you are. Second, and if you're Norwegian, check out, like, if you're a Viking, this is for everyone, just to get to know who you are, your ancestors. Second
Why?
is,
Why do you think that is so important? Because you're
because,
saying check it out, but why?
okay, so before a society gets built, constitutions get like we find grundlov. What's that, like? Constitution, yeah, constitution. So before they build a constitution and a society, if you see through history, they find different thinkers, different philosophies, understanding. So these are more knowledge and more intellectual way philosophy, and understanding that, like, why things are the way they are. Why are you like, what kind of political side did you grow up in? All of these things makes a foundation for your building. So what I mean is that, so when a country builds,
Hmm.
the ancestral knowledge and history is the philosophy,
Hmm.
and then when you build the country, that's the business.
Hmm.
So to have a functioning society, you need a good foundation, which is the constitutions, and a lot of the constitutions are inspired by thinkers, philosophers. And these philosophers and thinkers, they have done work from who are they, who am I, who are my ancestors. So that's why it's so important to know yourself,
Hmm.
because then if someone comes and tells you, I don't know, whatever, about Bangladesh or something, then you already know who you are, where you come from, and that makes you very steady, and that also navigates your business in more a solid way. So right now you cannot, when I do, I'm very solid.
Hmm.
Like, maybe I'm not that like, it's new to me, the entrepreneurship, but I feel like I have the moral values and the ground, uh, the stability in which is very solid, so which navigates me. So that's what I mean. Like, if you get to know the foundation, that's what it is. Like, get to know who you are. The foundation has to be solid, and then the business would be solid. And
Hmm.
get to know what your do a reflection on what your values are, what your moral is, before you become bigger,
Hmm.
because that would navigate, and that will make you, um yeah, that will make you be, I want to say not corrupted.
No, but it will bring forward your authentic self, because
Exactly,
when you
exactly.
know where you or your ancestor come from, it's easier to take also a certain type of responsibility, as you said earlier, but also decisions. In difficult times,
Yeah,
you can look back on your history and say, oh, in that time they did this, and that was the result. You can learn from that. You can either take the same make the same choices, or you can learn from their mistakes and go move forward. You don't have to make the same mistake as they did. So yeah, it is a lot of benefits to know your history, your
yeah. And the morals and what your values are. For me, that has been so important, because, as I said, since I have a different, like, growing up about the business culture, and just like, when people, I never thought I was going to be a business owner, right? So for me, I think, and I'm into society, politics, etc. And when you follow that, you see a lot of leaders who are corrupted, who
Mhm.
are has, and that, and I'm into psychology as well. So as I said, I'm a curious person. I like to understand why do people become yeah, why do people become corrupted, you know? And then I realized that, oh shit, I'm actually sorry. I'm actually because I started to reflect on, okay, how why do they become more like I'm not saying everyone, but the people who the leaders who become corrupted, why? And the thing is that when you have a lot of power, who gives you the power?
Mm,
Who gives you the power?
mm,
It's also the society, right?
mm,
So for us to take, I was like, oh, I have to take responsibility as well
mm.
because we human beings also help to
Sorry.
let, yeah,
Just you go ahead. I'm listening.
yeah. So we human beings also have the responsibility to say like, okay, this is not okay.
Mm.
So if you see like leaders in business, like whatever was done harm, and then it's because we have let them because we've been afraid to tell them like, hey, the way you're using power, you're misusing power. So we are also being a part of letting people get corrupted. Now I'm very harsh.
No, but I just remember a beautiful saying that I read yesterday on LinkedIn. It's like good leaders create stars, bad leaders create scars. And I
Yeah.
guess if you are scarred from your history and your, ancestors have been scarred and you're carrying that in your DNA, coming back to that, it's easier for you to scar somebody. But if your ancestors are people who have always lifted others and are good leaders, either at home, if you have a mother who run the home like a good leader, she has created
Mhm.
you as a star, and then it's easier
Mm.
for you to create other stars being. And
Yeah.
so yeah, I love that. Beautiful. Thank you so much for your advice and thank you so much for your knowledge, and I'm so excited to see what else you will come up with. And as I said, we will have you back in the next few seasons to see how far you gotten with that biological cycles, because this is amazing and more we want to learn more about that. So thank you, Shakila, so much for your time and your knowledge.
Thank you for the invitation. And yeah, I just want to say you're amazing. And yeah, thank you for creating stars as well.
Okay, people, take care, stay tuned, and be kind to yourself and to others.